welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Today I am creating a modern Mediterranean mansion. Yes, that's lots and lots of M's. And I started with the pool with this. I was totally inspired by a picture I found. I really wanted to do a Mediterranean build because I haven't done one in a while. I've just been doing more modern things, and I've only been doing room builds just because they're a lot quicker and easier for uploading to YouTube, especially when I am at work and stuff. So apologies for no full house builds in a while. I think I did a tiny house build which was like 5x5. So I was looking up Mediterranean style builds and I saw this build, and even though I tend to avoid larger builds because they take so long, I just had to build this because it just looked absolutely beautiful. So it's not exactly the same as the build because I didn't want to copy it exact, but I really liked some of these shapes, so I definitely included that. And it was like it's not a greenhouse, it's more like a conservatory style thing on this side that I'm drawing now, and I just really liked the look of that with the dark windows contrasting the rest of the windows, which were using like whites or really light woods. So I really love that contrast of using the black framed windows, and also really loved this octagonal shaped room. Is it octagonal? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it would be if I had the other sides. But yeah, this more rounded shaped room right here. And again, it just looked absolutely beautiful. I really wish there was a arched door which sort of matched these windows, so it looked a bit more cohesive. But I tried to mimic an archway at the top of it, but it just wasn't working. So I just went ahead and used this door because it fit the build just perfectly. The greenhouse kit, I can't remember exactly what it's called, greenhouse haven, something like that, pieces just worked so well for this. I used it all around this section here, and I used it on quite a few of the windows elsewhere as well. I also started at the back of the build because that is the first image that I saw, and when I was totally inspired, it was starting at the back. And the front I don't think looks as good, it still looks beautiful, but the back just looked a bit more interesting because it had more interesting shapes to it. Strangely, after building this, I built this a few nights ago. I haven't done the inside, this is just the outside. I will upload it to the gallery with just the outside done, but I might do a part 2 of doing the interior also, using similar sort of furniture what's actually in the build. But what I was trying to say was I decided to do Plumbella's Cursed Build Challenge that she just uploaded a couple of weeks ago, and I recorded it. I spent 3 or 4 hours recording it. I had face cam and everything, and my mic was not recording, so it's just me talking in silence, so that will not be going up. But that was a Mediterranean style build that I got as the challenge, so I was really excited because I've just been building a Mediterranean style build, so I really know what to do for it. So I'm really sad because it turned out looking pretty decent, considering I wasn't able to use bb.move objects because I wasn't allowed to use cheats. That was my challenge for that build, and if you know me, you know I use move objects every time I build. I cannot build without it, so building without it for this challenge was a massive challenge for me, and it still looked pretty decent. So I'm sad that that build will never see the light of day, and watch me get something absolutely awful when I do it again, because I will be doing it again, but I could get something really bad. I feel like I got a really good one because I got to do a seven rooms in a 2-bedroomed house meant for 2 Sims. So it was so easy, and the price was like really perfect. I got it spot on. I did it without the move objects, and it went well, and then the footage is just ruined. Oh well, stuff happens, and we've just got to carry on. So I've moved on to the front of the build. Again, I don't know what the inside of this actually looks like. I was literally just focusing on the outside, so this could be absolutely awful to furnish. I suppose we'll find out when it comes to it. If I end up furnishing it, I might give up, because the reason I don't do big builds is because I don't like furnishing them, because I like to clutter areas and doing really small areas. So when you've got a big build like this, especially mansions that don't seem to have as much stuff in, I feel like it looks too bare. But I mean, the decor looked really nice on the images, so I might be able to do something, and it didn't look too bare. It just depends whether I can get that into the shape of build that I've done, because I had to slightly change it. It's not exactly like this. And I changed what you can see on the left hand side to a single story instead of the 2-story. Because it's different in real life. It looks like it is actually lower to the ground, so the wall heights are slightly different to the rest of the house, which obviously can't be done in The Sims, sadly. And it's actually garages on this left hand side, which I do add garages, and I use a roof as a driveway up to it. I know it doesn't make sense technically with where I'm building it, because a car wouldn't be able to get there. If it was the other way around, because there is a road leading onto it, then it would be totally fine, but I didn't want to flip the house around because this is the front of the lot. We've just got to use our imagination, just like you do a lot of the times when doing anything in The Sims. So roofing this was rather difficult because of all the different shapes, but I actually really enjoyed roofing this. What makes it easier is the type of roofing I'm using. Why can't I remember what this is called? Is it hipped? Is this a hipped roof? I can't remember, the one where all sides go down. It's easier to build with this than it is some of the other roofs I find, because you can just slot things to the correct height and things will line up really, really nicely, even if there's different shapes going on. So it really did help. But that is the Mediterranean style. They use this type of roof, so it worked really well. Also, any mistakes sometimes can be hidden because terracotta is often used in Mediterranean builds also, which is that orange tile that you see on the roof. So I went ahead and skipped ahead a little bit, so all the roofing is done, because I think it's pretty boring watching me sit just playing around with the roof. And then, like I said, I just changed it to this terracotta colour. Also using just a white plastered look for the full house. This again is very Mediterranean. I think it is called stucco. And this was the main inspiration for the build, is this little seating area that I saw. Like I said, I saw the back of the house first and I saw this little seating area and it looked absolutely beautiful. So I've done this before, where you drop down at the basement. Well, you don't drop down the basement. You make a room in the basement and then you bring the platform up. And then you can put stairs going down into that, and then you just place seating. I placed this marble bit around the back first, and then I went ahead and placed seating in front of it. And I might be back and forward in a little bit in the video. As you can see, I've just switched to the front of the house. It's because I wasn't permanently recording, because this is a larger build. This video is already long enough and I have sped it up to, did I do 500 times? I think it might be 500 times or 5 times. So I already had to speed it up quite a lot. So when I was actually filming, I was not recording everything, like me going through the catalogs, and then any slight changes I wasn't bothering to film. So if you see any jumps like that, that is why. And if anything changes that I didn't record, sometimes I might have forgot to start recording again. So that is my bad. I really loved landscaping this as well. I was so unsure on what to do. So again, I was still following a little bit of what was on the build, but they had a nice like curving driveway, which you can't really do in The Sims, especially because I wanted to use the roof, which you can't curve around a roof. So I've used more straight lines and stuff like that, but I just added little bushes everywhere. I matched the bushes that were in the world around the front and the sides of the house, and I cover the full place in these bushes. And in the original build, there is little plants going around this. I would have loved little bits of dirt around the bottom, but I would have had to sit there and place dirt manually from debug, because the tiles were too wide for me to just like put the dirt tiles down. So I don't know if I'm fully furnished outside. I still might add a few bits when I'm furnishing the inside, but I did want to place a few items down to make it look a little bit more lifelike. So I placed a few things like a barbecue and some seating, and I think I placed some more seating on the grassy area, which isn't in the original build. It's just like an open grass area when it comes down from the stairs, and I thought it looked a little bit odd, so I did change that up a little bit. I also placed some plants around the place, keeping things pretty neutral because I just felt like that fit the Mediterranean vibe. And then I go around the entire house placing these things which I can't remember the name of, that are to hold roofing up. It's like to hold the edge of the roofing up. And generally in a lot of Mediterranean homes, these are a dark colour. A lot of things are a dark colour, like you'd have the bright white walls, but with a lot of rich dark woods, which is why I really liked this build where it's more full white with just the pops of the black. So I was trying to stick with the original build. I thought it'd give it more of a modern feel instead of using a dark rich wood, which I feel like gives it that more old-timey vintage look. Instead, we've got the more modern with the sleek white colour. I also went ahead and added some cypress trees. These again are very popular in, I say popular, not popular, they grow in Mediterranean areas. And then I'm just adding some other plants and stuff around the place to make it look a little bit more green. And I wasn't sure what to do across on the other side. It looked like there was a little door here, so I do add a door on this side near where I'm placing the cypress trees, and add some paving stones coming out there. This is just using the normal floor tiles, and I've just made them long and left gaps between to give that sort of look. And I thought about using these as the dirt underneath, but I think it looked better just using the terrain paint and painting under these. So I do that either side of the path coming down. I was just going to do it on one side, but I thought this side looks a bit too empty, so I do go ahead and do both sides. Then around the front, I went ahead and used quite a few bushes and a couple of these trees around the place. And I just sized up and sized down some of these bushes and used a couple of different colours just to give some variation. So you've got more of the light colour and the slightly deeper colour. It's barely noticeable, but it is, you can just tell. And I wanted each bit of garden to be its own sort of place, so I filled in all the way around each side of garden, including the back. To make it look more modern, I used a glass railing instead of any other type of railing around the front, and I absolutely love these trees. These are beautiful, so I added quite a few of these around the place. I added more cypress trees on the opposite side just to give some more variation around the place. So we have these shorter hedges and the taller trees. Then I added a seating area up here near the pool. I added another seating area down at the bottom of the grass like I just said, but I did that off camera. Then I also added a fire pit type table to the center of the seating area that's in the pool. I was going to make my own at first and make it a bit of a different shape, but I decided just to use the one that is in the game. And because I wanted it fully white, I just went ahead and added more of those marble things around the edge. I just sized them down and placed them all the way around the edge. But that is it for this build. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!